Well, parenting a child with ADHD is parenting on just a different level. Parenting expert Michelle McVittie joins us now with 3 tips to help out. And part of the problem is how long it takes to diagnose ADHD in a child.
Yes, well, I mean, you're looking at usually 7 because they want to be in grade 1, they want to see about focus, how are they doing in a classroom, but there's different types of ADHD. So there's 3 types, right? So they no longer call it ADD. It's ADHD with the hyperactivity, ADHD inattentive subtype, or combined. So you can have inattention and hyperactivity. So those kids really struggle at school, at daycare, because life is just moving around them and they have a hard time kind of figuring things out because their brain is like a Ferrari with bicycle brakes, right?
Oh, that's a good, okay, so it's going so fast.
Yes.
And very, very hard to pump it.
Yes.
So, and I can imagine that a lot of parents must just think like, you know, if there are issues and they haven't been diagnosed yet, what am I doing? Why can't I make this work?
Yes, and that's why I see a lot of parents because they're feeling defeated, right? What am I doing wrong? Because I have child A and B, that there's no issues. And with this child, I really struggle. It is a different level of parenting that is not really out there. There's a lot of information for little children and things like that. Not a lot about parenting children that are more strong-willed, have ADHD. And really, when you think about parenting a child with ADHD, we have to, the first tip would be to understand the ADHD, what their brain is like, and their executive function. So the assistant in our brain that is saying task initiation, emotional control, impulsivity control, can be up to 3 years behind. So if you have a 6-year-old, they're responding more like a 3-year-old.
So it's very tough to say, okay, go get dressed and get ready for school.
Yes, yes. And then big emotions come along with that too. So they're having a temper tantrum, then they see something shiny because they have low dopamine and they're dopamine chasers, right? So they want to do all the fun things. So yes, we need structure and we need systems and lots of patience, but you don't want to be talking so much at them. They need timers, visuals, checklists. It's a lot of work.
Okay, and are these like short-term timers? So, you know, you've got a minute to go and grab your lunch?
Yes, yeah, you can do it something like that. You can turn it into a game. A lot of times too, we don't have analog clocks. So children don't understand the passage of time. So it's any child, but especially with ADHD, they struggle with that. So what is 7:20 to 7:25? What does that look like? But if you can see the passage is going to take 10, 15, minutes, and then you can see that on the analog clock, they can visualize it. Instead of it just being an alarm goes off, we need, and also we want a bit of a prep, not just alarm goes off and next. They need a transition for the transition.
Okay, and it involves the whole family doing this.
It really does. And unfortunately, mental illness has a huge stigma. And children with ADHD, everybody sees the behavior. We see the tip of the iceberg, and they really want to do well. But parents feel like, if you want to do well, then just do this. You did it on Tuesday, why can't you do it on Thursday? And that understanding is so important, wrapping around the child, parents being on the same team and having the structure is so important.
And judgment if you're out in public and people don't know. It doesn't help.
I know, it doesn't help. What other people think of you is none of your business, but that's really tough when you know that they're judging your child. So you can have things that you can say. You don't need to explain why your child is behaving the way that they are, but you also want to prepare that if they're going to be overstimulated at an indoor playground or at the park, that they maybe
or at a birthday party.
Yes, that they can't go for 3 hours straight. They will need to take a break. You're probably not going to be dropping them off in the first few years. You may have to stick around to give the cues, to have the break, to check in with them. Like I said, it's a different level of parenting.
And just be easy on yourself too. And no, it's nobody's fault.
No,
right?
no. And the way I explain it is that, yeah, it's something that's going on in your brain that it's not contagious. It's nothing you did wrong. Talking about the Ferrari, with the bicycle brakes. So we have to work a little bit harder, but we can still get there.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
We've got there with our time now.
Yes.
We've got to put the brakes on, but we'll get all of your contacts up at chch.com/morninglive. Thanks very much.